My friend Petar Economics makes a very, very good point here about one of the side quests in the detective mission, the Mr. Mustache, what was her name? The dead journalist. I can't remember. Radko Perry is suspected of the murder, so we go along to his office to investigate him. And we find a pocket secretary and one of his helpers that says there's sensitive information in the safe and need you to get rid of it. Of course, the bodyguard does not get rid of the evidence, it's still sitting in the safe. Now, it was a bit ludicrous on my playthrough because I had already opened the safe. So, so we assume that it was not in there when I opened the safe, so it's assumed that Radko Perry's got the sensitive information, he's put it in the safe, and he hasn't even bothered to close the door. Right? Pretty ridiculous, but Petar points out that, yeah, even if he had closed the door again, it still would have been a bit ridiculous. This is where the writing and the way in which this is a Deus Ex game shows its weakness, because the game wants to be an action-packed game, there are lots of things happening as you play the game, but that obviously doesn't suit the style of game that Deus Ex is. In this case, you have the evidence in the safe, and ignore the fact that it's open in my playthrough, is what he's saying. There's a message to the guard asking him to remove the evidence and destroy it, and yet, why hasn't the guard done so already? If this evidence is so sensitive, you'd think it would be a priority, the guard would move it along, right? The only reason he hasn't, says Petar, is because you, the player, haven't been there yet. If you had gone and done more missions, it would still be there. The guard would not have emptied the safe. And so, the style of gameplay that Deus Ex is limits the type of missions that you can have. This is an example of a mission you cannot have in this type of game without it looking silly. This is something that should be happening, and yet the game only works if events have already happened. Since you're a detective who can work his way through the mission slowly, that's why the missions in the first game were constructed the way they were. Now, I can't really talk much about the first game and the side missions in that game because I did rush through it. It was one of the main criticisms I got for that game. I only slowed down a lot later in the game, so I'm not sure what the side missions were like. But yeah, this is very, very true. In the first Deus Ex game, certainly the main missions, everything was already one step ahead of us. We were investigating something that had already happened. Whereas, you know, a quest like this, in a quest like Radko's quest, we were investigating something that is happening right now. And so, you know, if it's happening right now, there are time limits to things. And if we have an open world exploration game, then time limits become a little bit ludicrous, especially in a game like this where it's trying to be quite realistic. Another example of this, I take a game like Borderlands 2. If you know the Borderlands series, it's a fun, zany world on Pandora. It's it's a place where nothing's taken that seriously. There's a lot of sort of fourth wall breaks in the writing. So, you know, for writing quests for that game, the main quest is fantastic in Borderlands 2, by the way. You know, but the side quests, it's like, we know what they are. They're little side quests to do and have fun and just build up your character a little bit, right? We don't have to, we're not trying to convince anyone that the world of Pandora is a real place with real political problems. So we get a mission like, I forget the name of it now, but it's given by one of the vendors, Marcus, who's well known in the Borderlands franchise for being sort of a real hard-nosed vendor. Right, he's not going to give anyone a discount. He's going to try and exploit his items for what they're worth. So one of the quests we get for him, he calls us up on our Echo and says, "Oh God, I can't believe this. I did something stupid last night. I got drunk, and I had a moment of weakness, and I sent out some refunds to my customers. I need you to go to their mailboxes and pick up the refunds before they get a chance to open them, because Marcus doesn't want to lose money, right? So the mission has a time limit. We need to get there before the customers come out and take the money away. So in a game like Deus Ex, it would be ridiculous, a quest like that with a time limit on it, as Radko's safe is. But in a game like Borderlands that doesn't take itself seriously, like, it's fine to have a quest like that, because we know what it is. It's not trying to convince us Pandora's real. It's just a fun quest to do. To the point where as you play through that mission, if you do not complete the mission within its set time limit, from the time you pick up the first one, you have 2 minutes to pick up the rest. If you do not complete it in the time limit, you can pick up the quest again and try it again, which would make no sense if they were trying to convince us that Pandora is real. So yeah, I mean, what Peter is pointing out here is you can't have it both ways. You can either have a game that you want us to take seriously, you want to convince us it's a real world, but you can't have a quest where we have to suspend our disbelief even more. You can't convince us that if you want this world to be real, you can't convince us that people aren't making rational decisions. The bodyguard should have got rid of that evidence so far. So if the game that you're you have to be wary of the quest you're putting in games that you're writing for. And this is just one of the weaknesses of this game in general. You're trying to convince us that this is a real world. All these problems are real in the world that we're seeing. But all the consequences that would come from that, we're not seeing those consequences. It's they've tried their best to make it feel very real, but it just isn't quite there. It's like it's the equivalent of what do they call that? What's the term for that? Where the Uncanny Valley, right? The Uncanny Valley, where on one end of the spectrum you have a sort of the stickman representation of a person. It's obviously looks nothing like a person, but we can see it's supposed to be a person, right? Right up to the other end of that scale, where we have people who look very, very real. But the Uncanny Valley is like, as we start to approach that place where characters start looking real, people get a sense of almost sort of disgust looking at them. The fact that they're not human. I have this sense of cognitive dissonance. We know this is supposed to be a human, but the more real they look, the more we can't accept them as human. Whereas, again, a game like Borderlands, the characters they have there, they're not meant to look like real people, but, we don't have any problems looking at them or relating to them. And the same thing here. This is a game that's sort of entering the Uncanny Valley, if they like. They're trying to make the place look as real as possible, but the realer they try and make it look, the more sort of icky and sort of disgusting it feels. Yeah, at least to me. Anyway. Now, where were we? Ah yes, Alison Stanek. The Church of the Machine God. Let's see what she was up to. Yeah, oh man, let's check this out. Who knows their periodic table? Who knows it well? I certainly don't. I did learn all this in high school, but I've forgotten a lot of it. As far as I remember, in high school, there were elements that what's the best way to put this? Some of the elements on here, I think some of these ones, sort of down at the bottom, were ones that had only ever been created in a lab and had only ever existed for a very, very short space of time. The sort of radioactive elements that degrade very quickly. As far as I know, that's the case. Obviously, something like carbon. Carbon's, one of the most stable elements up there. That's carbon's the reason that we exist as a species. Carbon's the reason that life exists on this planet. Carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. So some of these ones have had only existed for a short time. And when I learned the periodic table, this was I was in high school in the mid-90s. As far as I can remember, there were some elements on there that had never been made, but we knew because of the way the table is structured, we can predict that elements would be there. We could predict that there would be an element like that, but they'd never been made before or seen before. At least I think that's the case. Maybe someone can correct me on that. And what I was wondering is, maybe in this future, maybe there's been a new element found that is, somehow helped augmentation. Maybe being able to create some new. So fuck you, mate. Don't. Who's talking about my fucking right? Where are you, you cock? Which one are you?
What has happened?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? We're constantly, fuck you. We're constantly being told that the police are anti-Aug. Police are anti-Aug. They brutalize Augs.
What has happened?
Right? They brutalize them. So stacked against augmented people. Here we have some augmented people handcuffed. Right? Now.
What has happened?
You'd think if I gave them a little tap, the police would, give me a little, well done, mate. You really showed those Augs. You did. I was just a way to do that. I was just a way to give him a little beat down myself. Well done, mate. You saved me a job. But I bet if we hit one of these people, that something different will happen. Yep. Look at that. Under the rules of this world, that was very, very strange, was it not? Where was our high five? Where was our high five for the police officer? Why is he not congratulating us on beating down these augmented people? It does not make sense. This is what I talk about this is what I mean when I'm talking about the Uncanny Valley. They've tried to make this place as real as possible. They've tried to give a convincing story here. Yet the mechanics of the game do not allow that story to be told. Wouldn't it be fantastic if we knock this woman, I think, out, and this guy goes, well done, mate. Well done, I'm gonna buy you a beer after this. Or he says, I used to hate Augs before, but Augs like you, I like you. You're a good guy, you're on our side. Why does that not happen? Why does it not happen?
Why do you interfere?
Alright, let's have a look around. Let's see what's going on here. Signal jammer. Whoa. What is that? What do we not need? Yeah, just some alcohol. Don't need that. Silencer. Can we put that on anything? Silence combat rifle. Do I even want a combat rifle? Yeah, whatever. Put it on. Hopefully that's enough room. Yes. Signal jammer. Is this just an item to be, sold? Made by Alison Stanek, the bomb maker, this item will stop her bombs from being remotely detonated. Oh, maybe she gave us this, but because her inventory was full, it dropped on the ground. It's a good bloody job I noticed that then, eh? A lot of nice tech. Right, what's Alison been up to? Oh boy.
What has happened? Why are you stopping us?
Any data stores? Yes, one over there. So that means we have to go this way first. Okay, grab that, there we go.
Trace program
There we go.
initiated. Access granted.
Whoa, right. How fucking scroll. From the Office of the Deputy Minister of Defence to Alison Stanek, duty, right, so this is probably about her former department, right? Upon further review of your file, as part of an ongoing audit of all soldiers within the Czech Republic Army, currently active or non-active, you've been selected to take part in a series of physical and psychological evaluations. The goal of these evaluations is to better prepare our soldiers for life outside the service. Based upon your history in the Explosive Ordnance Division, as well as the injuries you unfortunately sustained in the line of duty, your opinions and thoughts would be invaluable to this study. You've sacrificed so much already. However, if you were to take part in the evaluations, we may be able to help others. We truly hope you consider contacting the MOD in your area to blah blah blah. She's been injured in the line of duty. She's been augmented. Was she injured in such a way that she needed augmentations just to be able to function? I think she'd already been augmented during the course of her work. Alison Stanek replies, "No, I know what this is. This is some trick. You tossed me aside, but now I've become more than you could ever believe possible." Alison, if this is a trick, why didn't you just leave it be? Why didn't you just not reply to this email? Replies to this message are routed to an unmonitored mailbox. Okay. From Eric Simmons to Mother. Mother, as you requested, blah blah blah. Singularity Church of the Machine God to Alison Stanek. From Gregory Townsley, the chairman. Miss Stanek, it's come to our attention that you claim to be part of Singularity Church of the Machine God. We have scoured our records and have never seen mention of you or the splinter group of which you claim to be in charge. As far as we are concerned, your group is distorting our system of beliefs to fit your agenda, whatever that may be. You've officially been labelled a negative influencer. We cannot in good faith offer you the support you seek. Furthermore, you'll be contacted by our attorneys who will be serving an injunction of infringement in relation to the name of your group. We believe we have enough evidence for you to be charged with slander of our good name as well. Aha. Did she pick this name randomly, or did she used to go to this church? Was she once part of this? Look at this. From Cerberus, guarding the gates of hell. Alison Stanek talks about her little ones. Victor, I've delivered what you asked for. Go forth and spread your message. Show the flesh flawed what they've done to us. Show them what it is to possess true fear. Lash out, my brother, lash out. Know that the machine god awaits us when all our work in this world is complete. Your sister, Alison. Victor replies, yes, sister, we have received them. I promise we will put them to good use. Nomad, Alison's father. What have these friends of yours done to you? Are you hurt? Has something happened? Why haven't you answered me? Please, Alison, I worry. And I think she replied to that. I think we read that on her father's PC. So, how indoctrinated is Allison? Has
What has happened?
the way that the message from Nomad seems is that Allison had been part of this place and then been indoctrinated into it. But it seems like she's the mother. She's the one. She's the caretaker. She's the one looking after these people. Is it the case that maybe she was part of the other church and had some kind of revelation and thought about another church that she could build herself and formed a splinter group? Splinter group. Yeah, thinking back to Borderlands 2, there's a fantastic fantastic little throwback quest. I think it's called Splinter Group, about some mutants who live in the sewers and like to eat pizza. Yes, that was as a kid who he grew up in the 90s. That was a very, very nice reference. I enjoyed.
Why do you interfere?
I enjoyed very much. Grew up in the 90s. I was born in the early 80s, so I grew up in the 80s and the 90s, I suppose.
Proč to děláte?
Leave us alone!
Don't think there's much else to do or see here. It's quite disappointing, really. Thought we'd see a little bit more about Allison's motivations, maybe,
You have no right.
but it doesn't look like it. What are we looking at then? Oh, fuck you. What are we looking at? We have to travel to Davni. I was right about Viktor Marchenko. The bastard preyed on Allison's delusions and tricked her into making bombs for him and his co-conspirators. They're hiding out in a Swiss Alps facility called Garm. Wasn't that fantastic? That she told us that before she started to doubt who we were. She told us that in the first couple of sentences that she told us.
I know Victor. He's behind these attacks. I'd like to have a talk with him. After our flesh flood oppressors sent one of their dogs to murder Thomas Rucker, Victor moved his base of operations to a research center in the Swiss Alps. Garm, I believe it is called. Garm? Okay, I got it. That is why you came here? You entered this secret place to solicit my help against Victor's holy revolution? Traitor! Blasphemer! And I believed you were one of us.
Isn't that convenient? That no matter how that negotiation with her went, we would still have known about that Swiss Alps facility called Garm. Isn't that convenient, man? That was a ridiculous part. That was ridiculous, man. Ridiculous piece of writing. Shit, man, like, there could have been other ways to find out about this facility. Heck, there could have been even an email. Look, there could have been an email on here, right? Think about this, right? Here's what Marchenko wrote to Allison. Let's have a look at it. Yes, sister, we have received them. I promise we will put them to good use. Best wishes, Marchenko. Best wishes from Switzerland. Yes, sister, we have received them at Garm. I will put them to good use. Yes, sister, we have received them. I promise that the scientists at Garm will put them to good use. How difficult would that be, man? Adding a couple of fucking words into the email instead of having that ridiculous scene. Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous.
Nice job, Interpol.
Gone to hell. Why are you stopping?
Right, well, I think our business is concluded here, isn't it? Do we have any side quests? Travel to Sista Kreva. Ah yes, we have to get to the storage locker outside the Palisade Bank. I know where that is, we have been there before. So no doubt there will be something.
People thinking.
Something will have appeared there now. Oh, we were pretty. Look, the police are everywhere now, eh?
Vůbec riskujou a vylejzají z těch svých děl.
Swear I don't know what happened to them. Why aren't they investigating the murder of everyone here?
Damn cult.
Why are they quite happy that all these people have been killed? Surely. So we called some agents here to pick up Allison. Surely the police will have known that an agent from TF-29 has been in here and killed all these people. Why don't they care? And you could say they don't care because the Augs are discriminated against in police brutality, and that's fine. I would be perfectly happy with that if we could hit augmented people and have the police congratulate us for it. Instead, there's no reason. There's no reason why they aren't investigating these dead bodies.
Let me go. I need to get out. You cannot do this.
Well, look, I suppose you could say I'm a clank, so the police are looking for any reason to arrest me. So even if I were to hit one of those clanks, I'd still be a clank and I'd committed a crime, so I could go to jail. Well, you could maybe say that. That would be a good little counter argument to what I'm up against there. Right, we're going to get an infolink message here. See what Nomad's got to say if he's still there. There he is.
Žádnej z nich nemá důvod vycházet z téhle čtvrti.
Well, she's alive.
I saw your goons again. Why did they take her? She is the victim here.
Not quite.
Mr. Stanek, she confessed to the crime. She made the bombs. Hundreds of people were killed. And now she's accepting the consequences of her actions.
But they manipulated her, corrupted her.
I don't know.
No, they didn't.
But
I'm sorry. It could have been much worse.
you're right. I know. You did what you could. Thank you, Mr. Jensen.
That's quite good writing. That's exactly what a father would think of their children. Any parent would think of their children that, their children couldn't be responsible for something like this. They must have been manipulated into it. That's got to be difficult. That's got to be difficult for a parent to face. Parents whose kids have been involved in serious.
Adam, it's Arya. I just heard what happened. God, right outside your apartment?
What happened outside my apartment?
Someone got all their implants torn out. Was left to bleed to death in the alley. When I first heard where it was, I thought...
I'm fine, Arya. It wasn't me.
Be careful going home. It's not the first one of these I've heard about.
I'll make sure you get the first dose when you
Okay. Suppose it makes sense Arya would know about that. It makes sense she would know about that.
Adam, it's Delara. I managed to find out some information on that Marchenko guy you asked me to look into.
What'd you get?
Well, for starters, he wasn't always Viktor Marchenko. Shit. I have to go. My appointment just showed up. I sent what I found to your email. Hope it helps.
Thanks, Delara. I'll check it out.
Okay. We have to check our emails. Let's go and meet Arya as well. Where's our apartment? I think it's this way. Yep. Be careful going home. It's not the first one of these I've heard about. So there is a copycat. Are more murders. And of course Arya's concerned because she's augmented as well. I don't think we're finished.
You think I don't know what's going on here?
Something's not right here. I'm gonna check in on the cat lady again. She's got something to do with this. I'm not sure exactly what. I had my suspicions that she was the copycat. Copycat, get it? She's a cat lady. But I'm not sure. Maybe she's the maybe she was the target of that. I thought that red carpet there was a blood splatter. Yeah, she's connected to 2 of these murders. Alright, what we'll do, let's head to the other district. Let's check out the storage locker. And then we'll go and read our emails.